The people who survived the impossible. What does it take to survive the impossible? Strength, luck, sheer willpower. Today, we uncover true survival stories that defy logic, where the odds were stacked against them, but they lived to tell the tale. Julianne Koch, the sole survivor of Flight 508. December 24, 1971, Julianne Koch, a 17-year-old girl, was on Lancer Flight 508 over the Peruvian rainforest when disaster struck. A lightning bolt shattered the plane, tearing it apart mid-air. Julianne, still strapped to her seat, fell over 10,000 feet, that's nearly 2 miles. Somehow, the dense jungle cushioned her fall. She awoke alone, injured, but alive. With a broken collarbone, deep wounds, and no supplies, Julianne used survival skills taught by her father, a biologist. She followed a stream, knowing it would lead to civilization. For 11 days, she trekked through the jungle, enduring swarms of insects and infected wounds. Then, she stumbled upon a logging camp, where she was rescued. Against all odds, Julianne survived what should have been an unsurvivable fall and an unforgiving jungle. Anatoly Bugorsky, the man who survived a particle accelerator. What happens when a human head is hit by a beam traveling close to the speed of light? No one was meant to find out, until Soviet scientist Anatoly Bugorsky accidentally did. In 1978, Bugorsky was inspecting a malfunctioning particle accelerator when the safety locks failed. A proton beam, 100,000 times stronger than a chest X-ray, passed straight through his head. Doctors believed he would die within days. But something baffling happened. He didn't. The beam burned a hole through his brain, yet Bugorsky remained conscious. Though he suffered hearing loss and partial paralysis, he survived an event no human was meant to endure. Even today, scientists still don't fully understand how Anatoly lived. Joe Simpson, the mountaineer left for dead. 1985, mountaineer Joe Simpson and his partner attempted to climb Peru's Silla Grande, but disaster struck on the way down. Joe fell into an ice crevasse and shattered his leg. His partner, believing Joe was dead, made the heartbreaking decision to cut the rope and save himself. Left to die in sub-zero temperatures with no food, Joe had only one option: crawl. For 3 days, he dragged himself across miles of frozen wasteland, hallucinating from pain and exhaustion. Then, just as he was on the brink of death, he saw it. It was their base camp. With his last ounce of strength, Joe called out. Miraculously, he was heard. Joe's survival was so unbelievable, it became one of mountaineering's greatest stories. Vesna Vulovic, the flight attendant who survived a 33,000-foot fall. January 26, 1972, 22-year-old flight attendant Vesna Vulovic was on duty aboard JAT Airways Flight 367 when tragedy struck. A terrorist bomb detonated mid-air, tearing the plane apart at 33,000 feet, that's more than 6 miles above the ground. Everyone on board was thrown into the freezing sky, except Vesna. She was trapped inside the tail section, which crashed into a forest in Czechoslovakia. The impact should have been fatal, but the wreckage landed at just the right angle and thick snow softened the blow. When rescuers found her, she had a fractured skull, broken legs, and was temporarily paralyzed, but she was alive. Vesna holds the world record for surviving the highest fall without a parachute. Harrison Okun, trapped in a sunken ship for 60 hours. May 26, 2013, Nigerian cook Harrison Okun was aboard a tugboat off the coast of Nigeria when a rogue wave capsized the vessel, sending it 100 feet underwater. As his crewmates drowned, Harrison found himself inside an air pocket, a tiny bubble of oxygen trapped in the shipwreck. But how long could he survive? For 60 hours, more than 2 days, he stayed in complete darkness, freezing and thirsty. He could hear sharks swimming nearby, waiting. Finally, on the 3rd day, a rescue diver searching for bodies found him. The moment the diver saw Harrison move, he panicked, because he wasn't expecting anyone alive. Harrison Okun survived the impossible, alone, trapped underwater for nearly 3 days. Mauro Prosperi, the man who survived the Sahara Desert. 1994, Italian marathon runner Mauro Prosperi entered the grueling Marathon des Sables, a 6-day ultra race across the Sahara. But on day 4, disaster struck. A violent sandstorm blew him 300 kilometers, 186 miles, off course. Lost, dehydrated, and running out of food, Moro drank his own urine to survive. He even ate bats he found inside an abandoned shrine. After 9 days alone in the desert, with barely any hope left, he was finally rescued, severely dehydrated but miraculously alive. He later returned to complete the same race, proving that even the harshest challenges couldn't break him. A fall from the sky, a beam of raw energy, an underwater prison, and an endless desert. Some survived gravity, some survived science, and some survived nature's wrath. But all of them had one thing in common, a will to live that defied every odd. These people faced the unthinkable and lived. Which survival story amazed you the most? Let us know in the comments. And if you love true survival stories, subscribe to the Story Circle for more incredible tales.